This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
What is up, buddy?
Not much. I think I picked up a little bit of a bug. I got this headache thing and really tired thing going on, but nothing else. Really kind of weird. I don't think it came from, being out in the rain and the cold over the weekend at the Sharpe Showdown. I think it's something that I might have picked up on Monday, but anyway, there's stuff going around. I hear even COVID's still going around.
I didn't know that was a thing anymore, but you said that earlier.
I thought it was done. Somebody said something about strep going around with the kids, and but look at the weather that we've had: 90 to snow, 80 to snow, 70 to snow.
It hailed today in Pierre.
Oh, you had hail today?
Yeah, I was driving to run over and get a headlight put in my pickup. By the way, I didn't get that done, and that is a nightmare. I don't know if you had to do it in years yet, but
no, not yet. No,
you don't. Hope you don't ever have to. But yeah, what an absolute nightmare. And I was driving on the road, and I'm like, it's raining, and there's I can see blue sky, and it just got a big cloud over us, and it started hailing on me.
What the heck? What time was that?
Like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. So I was off the eagle.
I mean, it was little hail and it was gone pretty quick, but I'm like, it is hailing.
A little bit of hail. Well, what the hail?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
awesome.
what an interesting weekend of fishing. We pretty much had very little wind.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Very little wind. Pretty decent day Saturday. And then Sunday it held out Saturday morning it snowed on them and it rained on them. Okay. And then it kind of came back, and then it was a decent day. And then Sunday it was supposed to rain all day, and the forecast got pushed off till the afternoon. And and it rained on them, and then it really rained when we were cleaning up. And I felt kind of bad because as soon as we said we're done and everybody could see the live leaderboard, they dipped out, and I came out of the trailer to get checks going, and it was just the people that want to check that were still standing there.
Yeah, I think after the rain, everybody's like, okay, you know what? Let's take off. Yeah, that lack of preparation each on the So all right, then, fine and dandy. This segment brought to you by.
But yeah,
we've got the fix.
We've got the guests tonight have became really good friends of ours at the Fishing Crew over the last few years, and
fantastic folks.
Bridesmaids, and they pulled one off. So let's bring Justin and Melissa in. How we doing tonight, guys?
We're good.
Great.
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you on top of the winner's circle thing. I was thinking back on, because I've known you guys for about 5 years now, and how many have they won in 5 years? And I thought, I'm going to ask that question, and I'm going to sound like an idiot because you have maybe either won multiples or haven't. I don't know. So
yeah, no, we've won some small couples tournaments,
right?
And had some seconds and thirds and fourths and lots of those, but never. Just haven't.
This is the first one. Then this is the first.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys dominated the couples division in the Gov Cup for a few years. I just was ready to hand you guys another trophy for quite a few years in the couples division, the Gov Cup. And you guys are always a contender in that, but it's been a long time coming to lift that trophy. And I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't a big crowd for you. So this was just practice. We'll get the next one.
Right.
No, it's always fun. It's always fun to do it in front of your peers, the people that you compete against and that you're friends with, so that means I think just as much to us as anything else,
Well, and then I guess for me a little bit, and I hope you don't mind that we get into the weeds just a tad, but you guys have had your fair amount of boat trouble that I think has probably held you back and kept you from a first place finish in the past, because it just seems like there's been one little thing after another that's really kind of kept you guys at bay a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. Last year we had boat problems before the MWC and had to use our friend Jeremy Coon's boat for that tournament. And this year we had in Cedar Shores, my big boater went down, all the way down by the Platte 44, Platte Winter Bridge, down by Dock 44. So we had that issue, and I've been struggling with getting a trolling motor that can work this year. So, before we came out, right the night before we came out, last Thursday night, was throwing the trolling motor together and getting everything ready just to make it out to do a little fishing last Friday before the tournament. So, yeah, it's been a struggle. It's been trying, but I honestly think one thing that has helped is it's almost like you can think too much about tournaments and kind of overthink things, and when you don't have time to think about stuff as much and you just go out there and you do your thing, sometimes that seems to help a little bit too. So
Yeah.
Well, you seem to endeavor to persevere when you have the problems, and that's, I've always admired that. Melissa, I'm sorry I interrupted you there.
No, that's okay. That I agree with Justin, because I think this is the first time I've been in the boat this year. Was Friday for pre-fish, and I was a little rusty, and I wasn't even thinking about, oh my gosh, we're going into a tournament. Usually I have myself so ramped up that I probably overthink everything. And this Saturday morning, I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing today. And yeah. And
you just go out and do it.
Yeah.
You went fishing. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing when a plan comes together and I guess, and you don't really plan it, so to speak. I mean, is that kind of how the weekend felt? Kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, exactly. It was just kind of a rush to get everything ready. We didn't get very much pre-fish time, so we just went into it just kind of generally knowing where the fish were setting up and having some past experience on those same exact spots. We just kind of went into the weekend with pretty open mind that, we're just going to kind of roll with it and see what we see and make adjustments from there. And yeah, I mean, Saturday morning, Melissa wasn't feeling very well right away. So, I mean, yeah, it was just kind of get in the boat, take off, and away we go, and just do it.
Kind of fun to not have a big wind get in the way, right? I mean, this weekend or last weekend was really about fishing hard because there really weren't too many things that were detrimental, rather than kind of the cold and a little wet toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Usually you're dealing with, some pretty big wind at some point in time. And we were surprised that the rain held off as long as it did. Actually, we were expecting, like you guys, some rain Sunday morning. But if years of doing this, if it's taught us anything, is that we're pretty prepared now. And you're just ready to just grit your teeth and just go do it.
Well, I mean, and that was the thing. Like, I got down there Sunday morning and everybody's like, looks like the rain's, I heard 3:00, I heard 2:00. And I'm like, and it was all kind of afternoon. And I'm like, well, that's great for the fishermen and for setup. But when it comes to weighing it in and tearing it down, that's when I don't want it raining. And yeah, which is fine. Right. I mean, you guys bear it every day when you're out there, and we go eat a good breakfast and come back, get set up. And then we sit in the trailer, and we really don't have to worry if it's raining outside. We just get to hang out and do our thing, and you guys are getting wet out there. So it was a good change for you guys, not so much for us. But, you guys, you don't fish sharp much.
No, not really. I really started fishing quite a bit in about 2008, 2009, and I'd come out to Sharpe and bomb around a little bit, in lower lake Sharpe, midsummer and in late summer. But when we really actually first started to dive into it was when you did the first Sharpe Showdown, which was kind of exciting. I know I had ice fished, the Joe Creek and Iron Nation area, but I'd never fished below the dam, and I'd never fished much out there at all past, before, say mid-July or August. So, when you did the first Sharpe Showdown, it was a good opportunity to go out and really kind of check things out and break stuff down. And it's kind of became one of my favorite places to fish, there's so much diversity from the dam, from dam to dam, that it's really pretty cool.
Yeah. And if I remember right, you guys did pretty good the first year you guys ever fished it. And I remember talking to you going into it because, and that's one thing, like, basically let's call it 4 years of you spending a few days a year on Lake Sharpe in your boat. I mean, because it's not like you don't go back there when it comes July. You're up on Lake Oahe. You're pretty much focused there. But everybody's so scared of that body of water. And we talked going into it that how you run the river, you don't have to worry. You just run the river if you run it with your maps and believe in your map chips. So talk about a little bit how you run that river for people that are so scared to come fish Lake Sharpe because of the sandbars.
Yeah. Well, when you first come out of Downs and you head down towards Antelope, you're dealing with that big long sandbar there, and you can kind of run the West River side of the river all the way down. But once you get past that, you're just kind of worried more about the trees. And if Navionics, we use Navionics and Dock Sonar. And the Navionics does a good job of showing the contours in the channel. Dock Sonar shows all the old trees, and it's almost perfect and spot on.
Isn't that something, the accuracy of that for as how old that map is?
Yes, it's down when we troll with it. It's down to the individual trees.
I noticed that last year when I was just scoping in the Whitlock area. I'm like, these trees are actually here. These 3 trees are here. And obviously after, what are we talking? They flooded that thing in the 50s. So, after 70 years, there are some trees that are going to disappear. There are a few that aren't there, but it is remarkable the number of trees in the cluster of trees that are just exact.
Yeah. Yep. So if you have confidence in that, and like I tell people, like, if you're going to be running Lake Sharpe, there's always a couple trees that stick out, kind of out a little bit. So I always just leave a little bit of leeway there, maybe 10, 20 yards and try to stay from the edges. But if you do that, you're really pretty safe.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's not like I said, I tell everybody, come out one day early if you've never been here and just take your time.
Yeah. That's
all you got to do. That's all you got to do is take your time, and then you can make your tracks and take your runs.
Yeah, that's what we did the first year that you guys had the Sharpe Showdown, is with the weekend before we came out and we put in at Iron Nation, and we ran from Iron Nation all the way up, to Stony Point, and just kind of ran the river and just checked it out, and that's one thing that I always do when I go to a body of water first. I just kind of, you like to see how accurate the map is and just get the lay of the land and everything. But yeah.
So we did have a question earlier, and I'll bring us. So what were the reports from anglers on fish? Lots of numbers. What was your guys's? I wouldn't say lots of numbers, especially Sunday. Guys were saying they were there, but they weren't biting. So what was your guys's? What's your report on fish down there?
Down there, we were the spot that we primarily fished. We were going through a lot of fish. Mm-hmm. A lot of fish, but a lot of them were those smaller fish. Mm-hmm. But I mean, for somebody just wanting to go out and catch a limit of eaters, a lot of them were those, they
were definitely like those small, like 15s that you would want to catch if you're just wanting to catch a limit and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know one guy told me on Sunday, he said they cash check, got hardware, but he said, I was so confident walking off the stage Saturday. If you'd have bet me, Kurt, that I couldn't put 5 fish across the stage today, I'd have laid $1,000 on this table and made you lay $1,000. And when I came in at 3:00, I was going to pick up both piles. And he's like, that's how confident I was. And they only caught 3 fish, and they're just like, it was a tougher day for some people. And some people, had a runaway. Like you said, you guys went through a lot of fish in your area. And that's the thing about Lake Sharpe is you can fish about anywhere on that body of water and see a ton of fish. I mean, they're stacked up in there. They're not big. You're not going to get your 10, 12 pounders. It's not like Hawaii, but you're going to go through a lot of fish and have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So you guys, let's break down your plan a little bit. And then because I've known you for so long, I got some questions for Melissa about your plan here. So break down what you guys did for the weekend, and then we'll go from there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably not a big secret to a lot of people. We were making a long run south, and fishing. We have a lot of good spots that all up and down the river, but we were primarily focusing between Joe Creek through Iron Nation and around West Bend and to North Bend. So we were making a long run down south, and there's this time of year, there's a lot of kind of traditional spots where it seems like they like to spawn and they hang out near. And so we were just kind of targeting those areas, and they just, this time of year, I mean, we were still catching them up, pitching to shore, but we just weren't getting the good fish. The nicer fish were just kind of laying out a little bit deeper off the edge. So we were targeting those fish, and yeah.
I got to admit, 13 pounds plus on Sunday surprised me. I thought the number was going to be a little lower than Traver's 11 and a half that they had on Saturday. So when I saw the bag, I'm like, ooh, that looks like that's a little more than 11. And it came in at I can't remember exactly what it was, 13 and something, but it was a great bag, right? A great winning bag.
That's really, honestly, in a slot tournament, a pretty solid bag anywhere in South.
Did you have an over in there? You had a 3.
Yeah. A big fish in there.
4 pounder is your big fish.
Yeah, we had a 23 and a half that was right around 4. And then we had a 20 and a half that I think was right around 3. Yeah. And then we had perfect slots to go with it. We were, going into Sunday, I was confident. We were confident that we could catch, our goal was to get like 8.5 pounds in the box, and then, and be able to leave some tags. So we were a lot more picky Sunday than we were Saturday, because we didn't really know Saturday what our spots would produce. Hence why we were done so early. But Sunday we held out a little bit longer. But yeah, it really kind of surprised us too. But I think it's a combination of just the time of year and the experience, down there the last handful of years, and the confidence to do certain things in certain areas and stick with it, and know that those fish are there. It's just a matter of getting them to go. That's been the interesting thing to me, is that there's a lot of good fish down south, but it's a matter of just getting them to bite.
I had a couple of texts from some non-tournament people that were down there fishing, and they said Saturday West Bend was on fire. And like, oh, I wonder who's down there, and wonder who found that, and if they could make it work for them. And obviously you guys were down there. We talked to you Saturday, and during the noon show, and it sounded like you were going to be done early. And then on Sunday, you kind of surprised us when you said that, well, we're kind of wrapping things up here. It didn't take you all day to get your fish either then.
No, we pulled into our spot, and we got good fish right away. And Sunday they did come in the right order, which was nice, but I mean, within the first couple hours we had some 2 pounders, and we had that 3 pounder. And then by late morning, probably around 11, we had some 2 pounders in the box, and maybe some 1 3/4 fish. then we got and we had that 3-pounder, and then we got that 4-pounder came in, and we were like, oh wow, it's early, and we got one tag left, and it's 11 o'clock. So we
had you on the June show. You were talking about how you guys pretty much had your weigh fish. You were just holding out for the right kicker fish. Oops. You're holding out for that right kicker fish. And you were like, we're basically done. We're just trying to get one more fish to upgrade.
Yeah.
And we were on for about 20 minutes or so with you, 10, 15 minutes or something. And you were making a move or something. And we popped off with you and hopped on with Ryan. And it was different because Ryan, when we talked to him, they had one fish, so they had one fish. I know fishing, not the same area, but similar areas. So their fishing was a lot different than yours.
Yeah. It was shortly after we got off with you that we got that last bite that we were waiting for, which had to be, for us to upgrade, it had to be that perfect, 19 and a half inch, 2.5 pound fish, which it was. Yeah. Yeah. And
always love it when we're good luck.
Yeah. So, we do have a question here. We got 2 questions, but what was the winning technique? Or forward facing?
We were trolling lead core all weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I was fully ready to pitch jigs and minnows and jigs and plastics at them if it did get tight. We did notice in certain areas that we were trolling that, you'd troll a stretch and you'd see that the fish on that stretch would be primarily in a couple places were the best places where those fish were setting up. And Friday, when we were pre-fishing, we did have a stretch that had a really nice fish on it. We're having a hard time to getting them to go on cranks, so we would stop and jig them, and that was we were able to produce fish that way too. But it worked. It worked out. We didn't have to pitch any live bait at them or any plastics, and we were able to troll the whole time.
Hard to win a tournament with just a single technique anymore, especially these local ones. The big dogs that are doing it and know how to do it, Tom Wynn, etc. Max Wilson, okay, great. They can do it the one way, but isn't it nice to be able to have that extra, that forward facing sonar thing just kind of there? Doesn't it give you a little more confidence?
Oh, absolutely. And
still used it.
Oh yeah, we actually use it all the time when we're trolling as well.
Yeah,
I mean I have a pole mount right beside right beside the driver's seat when we're trolling. Have it on my dash, and I'm constantly using it to see, to keep myself when you're trolling steep break lines like that. I'm using it usually at a 45-degree angle to put myself right on that perfect. Right on that break line, but also scanning around at the same time, moving it around to see, are those fish kind of moving off the edge? Are they hugging right to the edge? Are they moving up on the flat, that you're fishing? And depending on the weather and the conditions, they'll do all the above. So, I mean, it helps you break down water so fast and make adjustments.
You're running it facing forward. You're not looking back at your baits with it.
Correct. No.
So are you using it when you're trolling? Are you scanning to the side? I'll use it scanning to the side to look at the breaks, etc., the fish on them, and I guess honestly, I enjoy that. I just enjoy watching it. You look at all this stuff on side imaging for so long, right?
Yeah.
And it's you got that 2D screen. It's really not that big a deal, but then you start to implement that live sonar to the side while you're moving, and to me, it just opens up a whole new world.
It does. It really gives you a total picture of what's going on. Like if you look at one of my graphs on my dash is my map. I've got 2 maps. I usually run 2 maps because every map has a little bit of different, nuances to it. And in some places, one map might be better than the other. And then my other one, when we're trolling, is 2D. and then side imaging, and then active target. So we're watching that all at the same time and just putting together a picture of what's going on. And because in tournaments, it's all about making those adjustments quicker and faster and being more efficient.
Do you think it helps when you're looking at the contour lines and you get into an area where you've got the tight contour lines, you've got a steep drop, maybe it's not as steep as you think, and you roll the live scope Garmin active target over to the side, and you actually see that it's not as an aggressive or not as steep of a drop. It's a little bit little less, it's more tapered than anything, and it really takes the guesswork out of the contour lines on the maps. And for me, it's just magic, because you can waste your time on what you think are 5 or 6 nice tight lines, and you think you've got a good break there into deep water, and all of a sudden you notice it's not. It's just whatever. It's just a total waste of time.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk to about every fisherman that's been out fishing, and they're following the map, and they think that, okay, it's gonna gradually shallow up, and then all of a sudden they're in 3 feet of water and everything's snagged up. And so when you have active target or a Garmin or live scope on there, and you can see in front of you, and you can see, oh yeah, it's gonna be either a lot worse than I think, or not quite as bad. Yeah, it takes the guesswork out of it for sure.
So we have a question here, and this is where I was going to do. It says, tell us your secret color, Melissa.
Well, it depends on the time of the day, the sky color, the sun, like watercolor. I don't know what time of day, I don't know. I have secret colors.
Okay, so you know what? That was a great question, and that was a great answer. So are you a firm believer in, I don't know how to do this. The sun is down here. You're going to use orange. The sun is here. You're going to use green. You're going to go to blue. Whatever. Are you into that color chart where the position of the sun, etc., and the clouds makes a difference?
So basically, I'll pick my color before we get to our spot, and then 9 times out of 10. I will change it, because when we get to the spot we're going to, the watercolor is different than I expected. The cloud cover, the sun, everything is different. I think over this past weekend, I probably changed colors every 20, 30 minutes. I would change out all of our colors, because it just like the cloud cover, the sun, everything was changing so much. The watercolor, I just kind of basically just am constant. Like, I don't sit still in the boat. Like, I am constantly changing plugs and doing something.
You got Justin up there at the driver's seat with his cigar out, watching maps, maybe moving this, and you just watch Melissa run around the back of the boat, old Mad Dog just going every direction.
He's like, hey, we're going a little 5 foot shallower and
getting shallow.
Yeah, and
getting deeper.
Yeah, I don't have a magic color. I think I have a color that just depends on. I have my favorite colors depending on the watercolor and the sky cover.
I mean, and I don't take anything away from you guys at all in your whole fishing abilities, but you guys have always been my dialed in cranking team. Like, if it's a crank bite, I'm putting money down on you almost every time, because you two just have that game down. And a lot of it, I think, is your roles in the boat, right? It's very, this is what Justin does, this is what Melissa does. Don't get in each other's way. Don't question what the other person's doing. And it comes hours and hours and hours in the boat, and probably hours and hours in the car, and hours at home yelling at each other over stuff.
It is. It's teamwork and being on the same page and knowing how to move in the boat, and watching, Melissa watching the graphs and the depths and changing and moving and everything. But yeah.
I think at one point, I remember specifically, there was a fish that came on Justin's back rod, and we were turning, and I had to completely, and he was in my way, and I'm like, get down. He squatted down. I had to lift up over the back motor, And I'm like, you need to get the other back rod out of my way. And it was a complete train wreck, but we got the fish in the boat. Like, I don't know how we did it, but I mean, that's just, if there was a bystander watching us, they would kind of be laughing at us and wondering what circus is going on in that boat.
Especially if you've got to take a rod over Justin's head. That's
Right.
itself. So,
Yeah, but you guys have fished together for a long time, so they're calculated adjustments, right? I mean, you kind of the way you guys move is second nature to each other.
It is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we know when the boat's moving a certain way, she needs to do certain things, and I'm always watching her and letting her know, what's coming up in front of us and how to make adjustments and stuff. So it's all of those things that come together and culminate in a good day of fishing, a good tournament day of fishing for sure.
well, and I've told people for years that when it comes to pulling crankbaits and any type of tournament fishing, right? Back when the crankbait thing was before live scope, and that was the big game a lot of the tournament guys did was pull crankbaits, is the teams that were good and consistent had their roles, had their patterns. I'd go pull up and watch them fish, and it was, don't take offense to anybody either listening, because everybody's a great fisherman and everybody has their day and everything goes right for you had the right day. But the guys that were consistently good, like, had such a dialed program, like literally a dialed program, to where, I mean, one team, they used to have their 4 rods in the water and the 4 same rods laying on the bow of the boat. So as soon as they'd net one fish, the guy would drop the rod and be putting another rod out while the driver was, they were never not all 4 cranks in the water at a time. I mean, just little stuff like that separates you from, everybody else when you're doing that crankbait game. That, make sure all the crankbaits are tuned, make sure everything, this is that. And, if you say go to 155 and you go to 157, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Especially whenever you like to ride the bottom. And
Yeah.
The dirty rider. Yeah.
Justin made a comment that, Melissa, if I tell her to be 3 inches off the bottom, she's 3 inches off the bottom. I can promise you.
Yeah, and there's some days where you have to get that reaction bite when they're laying on the bottom, and that's what you have to do.
And
So then, Justin, you're the driver, Melissa, you're the tender, right? And that there's no dual role there. Justin, you're just, which is honestly, it maybe at 75% of the whole deal, right? The boat control, driving the boat, and getting
that's about 50% of the deal.
Okay.
But you got to be able to fish to catch the fish. So I mean, all my job is to make sure that my line is where
Right.
it needs to be. So that's about
Right.
10%.
Both extremely important, but I think a lot of people forget about how important driving the boat is. I know that if you go out and you screw around and you're messing around, the boat's all over, and you're not really paying attention, the day can get wrecked. If you're just out for fun for the weekend, but if you have somebody who is just focused on driving the boat, the fishing is always better.
Yeah. That's one thing I've always worked really hard at, in whether it be using active target or trolling, is, boat control is it's so key in getting yourself placed where you need to be. Yeah, for sure.
And bring up boat control when people complain about live sonar and live scope, etc., and how easy it is. You just try to maintain boat control while you're playing that video game and trying to catch fish. There's so many things that people don't understand about it, and that boat control is one that a lot of people don't talk about anymore because, well, the game is always live scope. But I think there's a huge component to boat control in live scope or live sonar.
It's absolutely huge, and that's one thing that we've been working on the last couple of years is using forward facing sonar, and trying to get a program, dialed in like we have with our trolling program. But when it comes down to a tournament and you've got that confidence, you kind of start, and things don't go right, you lean back towards, what you have confidence in. But yeah, with going back to forward facing sonar, that's one thing I've figured out right away is, boy, your boat control has to be spot on to be able to make those casts, to be efficient and put that bait where it needs to be, for those fish to react.
And that
can
is
disappear on you quickly.
That is your guys' comfort zone, right? I mean, I remember when forward facing was starting to be a thing and Justin starting to get into it, and old Mad Dog Melissa was not very happy when you put the cranking rods away to go cast at them. Has that changed a little bit, or we still?
No, I'm willing. I'm on game now. Like I know what I have to do. It's whenever this was, I don't know how many years ago, you told me that I need to learn to crank, and I was like against cranking. And then there was some day like it snapped, and I was like, oh, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to figure it out. So now that's my next step is.
I remember when it came out, there was some conversations had between me and Justin about how unhappy you were to have to be casting at fish and not like, we know we can catch these. Let's just put the crankbaits down.
Yeah, I know. And I know that there's always there's a cranking bite and then there's a casting bite. So, and I have to adjust to it if I'm going to be able to stay on the boat with Justin. So.
Yeah. You can tell early on with forward facing sonar, when you can pick your individual fish, I said, this is going to be, we're going to have to do this because this is the way that you're going to, single out the big ones and catch them. Yeah.
But I mean, let's talk about that too, because everybody's so fixated on it, and that, people don't get into the tournaments because, we're going to lose the forward facing sonar. Let's go back to your MWC in Mobridge. And I mean, forward facing heaven, right? I mean, 100% forward facing heaven up there. And you guys did it cranking.
Yeah. Yeah. We, that came down to, I mean, we knew where the fish were and how they were kind of moving. And we knew some spots that were holding big fish. And, our first day we got 2 28 inchers and we were happy with that. We kept those. When we were fishing for an upgrade in our slots, we threw back another 28. But then the next day, we our overs came in the right order. We had a 31.5, and then we got a 30.5. And so they came in the right order. And that's the thing, I guess, with trolling is, they have to come in the right order. You have to have the confidence knowing that you're going to throw a 25 or a 28 or a 26 back, knowing that your percentage chance of getting a bigger fish is pretty good. So that's the thing with forward facing sonar that's tough to compete with, is you can single out those big fish. When you're trolling, you could go over a 31 and a 28, and that 28 bites, and you're like, well, I don't know. That's pretty good, but.
So when you guys, you're talking about catching bigger fish, and I'm trying to picture what goes on in the boat after you net it, after it's put in the box. Is it high fives? Is it hugs? Is it, is it, what do you guys do to celebrate?
It's hugs and tears.
Hugs and tears. Okay. Good.
But I mean, I talked to people after that Mobridge event that fished by you, and they're like, we couldn't do what they were doing, and it comes down to, like we said before, you guys are such a well-oiled team when it comes to crankbaiting that you don't have to talk. Like, this is a depth, get the baits there, and you're not questioning if she's changing baits or what she's doing because you got confidence in each other.
Yeah. Yep. No, Melissa's great at making adjustments as far as adjusting depth and when to put a snap weight on and when not to get the right bites and colors. That second day in the MWC, it was, we were fishing a stretch, and there were 2 other boats on it, and there were some specific spots again on that stretch that were holding big fish. We went over them we had a big fish on, we lost it. We were heartbroken because it was getting towards the end of the day and we thought that was our chance. And then we had another boat coming towards us, and I made a quick 360 or 180 and turned around, and because you could see on active target that the fish that were down there were big fish, and there were a lot of them, and we turned around. We had the confidence to turn around the whole pass, and get those baits back down there right where they needed to be. And sure enough, when we went back over them, we got our second big over.
Go. Hey,
there we go.
When they get a phone call, it literally kicks them out of the studio, so we can take a phone drop. That's fine. But
yeah, that's kind of fun every once in a while. We got
another question here. So this is a great question. How do you decide between lead core versus snap weights?
Well, actually, when we run snap weights, a lot of times we run them right on our lead core. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just run them right on our lead core, unlike a lot of people. I guess
I don't know any different from running.
So in my world, I'm using snap weights to get down there faster, like right now, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of with the lead core. And after talking to Mark Romanak and understanding that whole the bend of the lead core and what it's doing, and the fact that we're not paying attention to the fact that it has that. I don't remember. Do you remember what Mark called that, Kurt?
I can't remember
there was a specific mathematical bend in it, because we're that lead core is not going down straight. It's actually bowing out. And so the thing for me is snap weight, and I'm on the bottom, and I started using snap weights back home on Ponset and Thompson, because I could put a 2 ounce, 1.5 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce snap weight on a little number 5 flicker shad, and boom, I'm right there. I'm right where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And so, whether that's how it is for you guys or not, I think there's the speed of getting down there. How heavy, if you're using the snap weights, are you doing the 8 ounce snap weight then?
Yeah, 6s or 8s. Okay. And yeah, it's all about getting that bait. It's all about getting that bait precisely where you want, I think, for us. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we just use the snap weights on the lead cores, because if I put out 30 feet on my lead core, I know exactly how far that's going down.
Sure.
Very precisely, more so than mono or a super line. And then so it's for us, it's just a matter of being very precise with it, I guess.
So, the general rule of thumb, 50 snap, or 30 and then snap, and then, whatever. Are you changing up that 50-30? I mean, is that changing up if you're trying to run so accurate to be 3 inches off the bottom? Are you going 10 out, snap the weight, then go, or is it always the same number when you snap your lead on, or snap your snap weight on?
Yeah, we always usually do 30, and 30 really kind of came from, it's like the perfect distance that, when you take the snap weight off, whoever takes the snap weight off, you can go get the net, readjust the boat, and then net the fish. So there's that's really the reason why we do 30 feet, because it seems like the perfect amount of time that it gives you to do what you need to do with boat adjustments, grab the net, and net the fish.
Yeah, there's nothing broken there. Why try to fix it or reinvent it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And we've tried other things as well, and and that just seems
it works for us.
Seems to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know when you're trying to get that accurate to the bottom, if you're changing the length of where you put that snap on for that crankbait diving, or if you're just always doing 30 and then adjusting your snap weight in the water column.
Yeah, for me, I always put it on at 30. Because that's where I got, because at first, whenever Justin said we're going to start using snap weights, I obviously fought him on every, because I was like, this is another aspect I don't want to learn, and I had to learn. But, so I learned 30, and then I learned, so what depth are we at, and then how much I have to put out after that 30. So, and I adjust, know how much, like, okay, we're this deep. I have to put myself after my 30. So
when you let go after you pull the snap weight off, do you just let it go, or do you slowly let it go back? Because I've been out with so many guides, they'll pop it off and they'll just let that line snap. I'm like,
no.
Oh, we're very
No.
the whole process of bringing a fish in is also pretty
So
precise for us.
I always know like what depth we're at. So let's say we're at 20, and I know like where it needs to hit the bottom, and I will feel that snap weight hit the bottom. And then once I feel it hit the bottom, then I just like reel it up just a tad bit, and then I just let it run. Like I will wait for that snap weight to hit the bottom. Like
what he's saying, when you're reeling in and you're getting a fish off, you're not just snapping the line up. You're not on snapping and let it fly up. Justin's unhooking it and holding the line until it gets tight again. I can promise you there's no, I promise you, I know Mad Dog well enough. It would not be okay if he just let that line go even fun fishing.
He has done that a couple times, and there has been some moments in the boat that has been,
Some Mad Dog for a reason. She can get on it.
Hey, speaking of dogs, how are all the dogs? How many do you have now?
We have 3, and they're all doing really, really good.
And they're all with you.
We got 2 right down there. We're just sitting out in the shop right now, and then Ava, our Draghar, she's probably staring out the window at pheasants and rabbits.
Oh, sure.
They're all doing really good.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, and it was odd not seeing the dogs in the boat.
We had one with us pre-fishing Friday.
Yeah, we had Ava, and they stayed with Ryan and Laura, which their kids are great babysitters, and they
have enough other dogs to have fun with too. So it was like daycare for them.
Oh yeah, it was perfect, and Berkeley and Gatlin took perfect care of them, and so it was
oh yeah, old Gatlin, when we're getting ready to go pheasant hunting guide, and he asked Dad what dogs do you want, and he loads them up on the trailer, and and then we get done, he's got the dogs inside and he's letting them in and out. He's on it. Like, there's no question about him taking care of dogs for us.
Oh yeah. Berkeley, she's just as good though. Like she was taking care of little Cleo, my old little cockapoo, and she was just, she was on it. So both little angels.
Little angels. I think we got some beg to differ if Ryan comments tonight.
Oh,
So the
Match kids. No, I love those kids to death. They're awesome kids. But I think it was last year getting ready to guide, and we were out guiding or whatever, and we get back and Gatlin is just madder than a hornet, and we're like, what's going on? And he's like, Berkeley locked me in the dog crate in the back of the side-by-side and left him. We're like, why did you crawl into the dog crate? Like, why did you let her talk you into getting in there and shutting the door and then leaving you there? Come on, bud.
Have you met Berkeley?
Yeah, very well.
She convinced me to do that. She would convince me to do that very easily. Like,
funny.
But no, I mean, so guys, it's been fun to watch you guys, grow over the years. And Melissa, you got to start fishing more with Justin. I don't like seeing him with other partners.
Yeah, right.
Adam, no offense, Josh. It's not the same when Mad Dog ain't there in the morning. And I got to guess what Mad Dog I'm getting, if she's feeling good or if she's in a good mood. You're always nice and you're always a sweetheart, but I got to make sure I know what to say first.
That's how Justin feels every morning.
It keeps it lively.
Yeah, Justin. So I think from now on, secret code words to me, we can get a ledger on how I can approach Melissa in the morning. and I was going to tell you guys earlier, my wife hates pulling crankbaits. So this summer we're going to have to go on the boat. Melissa, you're going to have to convince her that this is fun.
She just doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, we went to the karts tournament the first year we went up there, and I'm like, we're going to pull. I had her and Benny on the boat. And there was a crankbait going on. I knew where it was, and we were bottom bouncing, not catching nothing. So I drive the Tri-Tune over to just flat where I knew they were biting on crankbaits. And I'm driving the Tri-Tune, and they're both sitting on the couch like this. Neither one would help me. And I'm like, so I get the lines out and I look over and I'm trying to drive the boat. I'm like, when do you drive? They're like, no.
Cranking is
I don't
fun.
even drive the boat. So I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So I reeled up the lines and we went and did something else. But I need to convince her to pull crankbaits because I like pulling crankbaits.
Cranking is fun. Yeah,
that's exactly what Melissa did when I remember. I think we both remember the day where she finally was like, okay, what's going on here? What do I need to do?
I remember the day and I remember the spot.
the day and the spot. Okay, so what day, what spot?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's up in the Cheyenne.
Yep, it was up in the Cheyenne. It's a spot that I called the big boy spot because that's where I caught my very first big fish. And
was it the day that you gave up and from being mad to like, this is a game we can play?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
And I was like,
exactly.
I'm like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? I don't understand. And that was where the point where I was like, I don't understand, and I need to understand because I'm getting really frustrated, and I don't like sucking.
Right.
Good. And he's like, well, you have to listen to me. So I was like, from that day on, I listened to him, and that's where I'm at today.
Hey, Justin, so you know that was recorded. That was recorded.
Yeah, that is on tape.
You can go back. It was at about 50 minutes in. You can go back and just edit that part out that she listens to you.
That's great.
But that's right.
Yeah, and the next summer is when we fished our first Governor's Cup. So yeah.
Did you guys win the couples event, the couples division, the first year of your? If I remember right, that was kind of where I was like, who are these guys?
Yeah, we got 16th overall and won the couples division, and we were ready to leave because we didn't think we didn't do as well as we wanted to do and we thought we could do, and we were disappointed. And the couple next to us was like, you guys need to stay, you guys are in the money, and we're like, oh really? And we stayed, and that first Governor's Cup experience was just amazing, because we stayed afterwards and got to see all the awards and everything, and the camaraderie with everybody was just like, and we couldn't wait to do it again the next year.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, the couples, Pike Haven couples tournament, how many of them have you won?
Just 2.
Oh, just 2?
Just 2, huh? Who's good?
Yeah, so that's a fun event up at Pike Haven, the couples tournament. I like to go up there and hang out. We've done the weigh-ins a few times for them, and it's one of my favorite places on earth going into Pike Haven. You guys got your camper there, and you call that home most weekends in the summer. And that couples tournament's a pretty neat little deal. And I thought you've won more than 2.
No,
maybe.
No, we only have 2 up there.
Maybe 3. Just 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris Haynes usually comes up.
Yeah,
Kim and Chris come up and put a beat down.
Well,
too.
last year it was Ryan and Maddie and Laura and Sabrina. They came down and won it. So.
Yeah, and they Sabrina was borrowed my wife's rain gear because she didn't know where and she was not very happy about going to fish that day, but she was really glad she had the rain gear.
She did awesome though.
Yeah,
it was amazing that day.
So you guys, I mean, pretty much spend your summer fishing on Lake Oahe all summer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting ready to start going out to Pike Haven any weekend now, and then we're out there about every weekend that we can be, unless we have to be home.
That answered my question. I was curious to know if you were set up and ready to roll. I haven't turned on water. I will turn on water Friday afternoon for the first time. So it's finally go time after all of these 80 to snow weekends. We're finally here. It is May 1st, the beginning of May, and we're out here. It felt like we should have been set up and had water on a month or 2 ago. Really, the way it's been.
Yeah, I feel like February was nicer than March and April.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's go time. Obviously you guys have, you got stuff going on, whatever it happens to be. You've got Mother's Day coming up here, and I'm not going to make it back for that. So I am all in on South Whitlock and ready to get in the boat and make it happen. And I guess that's the exciting part of this week and the fact that we're getting there, and you're going to fish the National Walleye Tour in Mobridge, May 2021.
I am still trying to figure out if I can swing it with work or not. I would sure like to. I was planning on doing making it out to Lake Erie and traveling out there with Justin Skipper. Was really looking forward to that, but wasn't able to make that happen. And still kind of waiting to see here if I can make it up to Mobridge. Really would like to. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I suppose the petroleum world right now is a little it's a little
Wild.
There you go. Okay. I was going to say topsy-turvy, wild, crazy, stupid, whatever, but it is what it is. And, you obviously have to deal with it every day. So the rest of us don't have to think about it. We just pull up to the pump and get her done. Right. So.
Yeah. So with, the mayor of Mobridge says, call in sick to Mobridge. It's really hard when you're the boss.
There you go. I love it.
I've got the best employees and the best customers, so it makes it easy sometimes to leave, and it makes it hard sometimes to leave.
Sure.
So with that one, that's interesting because they're gonna have a boundary, if I remember right, at the 212 bridge.
Yeah. So
that's gonna be an interesting event for a normal MW or NWT on Lake Oahe. What's your thoughts on cutting the 212 bridge as the cutoff for the NWT?
I think that time of year, it's not that big of a deal. I think, me, when I fish tournaments, I don't know what it is inside of me that thinks I need to burn a whole tank of gas.
Right, because you own a petroleum company.
Right.
I like the adventure of like trying to go as far away as I can and make it happen and come back, which I've had some issues with this year, I guess. No, I don't. I think that time of year, I don't think it's going to play that much. There's still going to be fish north of Mobridge and could you go past the 212 bridge and catch fish? Yeah. But really, I mean, I don't think it's going to make that big of a deal. It wouldn't even really spread out that much of the field, I don't think, so yeah.
Well, we know Chase Parsons loves Peoria Flats, and seems like every time he's here, when they put it in Mobridge, he ends up on Peoria Flats. So I bet if we had him on, he would have a different saying because he doesn't get to come to Peoria.
Him and I would get along really well then, I think. We'd see who can make it the furthest before he ran out.
I'm pretty sure every Mobridge event that has happened, he's been on Peoria Flats.
Yeah. They put on a lesson down there that still is still holds to this day. A lot of lessons learned there, and a lot of stuff learned that they opened up in the fishing world as far as fishing over trees and stuff.
So yeah, I guess that's a good question. Do you guys ever play the spinnerbait game in the trees?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. I got a lot of 2-ounce spinnerbaits.
It's like, I know you guys like to crank a lot, but I was wondering if you ever play the game of spinnerbaits in the trees.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Melissa, what page in the Bible is that on?
I'm still loving that one.
So usually if we do that, I'll run two spinnerbaits and Melissa will run 2 cranks right above it. So.
Yeah. I don't like to get snagged. I don't like to lose baits. I don't like to get snagged. I know that's crazy to say because I always run the bottom, but I don't like to get snagged because I get mad when I lose my baits.
I don't like to lose fish. That's what scares me about the whole deal.
Yeah. Like the last time we fished the Sharpe Shootout, we were fishing trees and we lost a fish in the trees, and that was a little.
Yeah, a little gut wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun game. I love pulling them spinnerbaits to the trees, but you have to be on your game and get ready to crank really quick and get them out of the trees or you will lose them.
Yep.
So, well, guys, it's been a pleasure. Congratulations again. I know it won't be the last one. Hopefully this starts a ball of fire that's already there, but like gives a little more diesel or fuel on top of that fire to keep you guys going, and look forward to seeing you the rest of the summer. And thank you guys for always supporting the fishing crew. And we really appreciate everything you guys do for the fishing crew and all the kind words you always say. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah. No, thank you guys a ton. It was a pleasure being on and seeing you guys.
Thank you
All right.
for the crew and everything you guys do for us, and the Chamber of Pier, and putting on that event. And
Yeah. What a great tournament.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Such a
Well,
fun
we
one.
appreciate
gotta
you.
get more people at the
Congratulations.
Cattle prod to get them in that thing, because it's a great event.
Mhm.
Yeah, more boats would be better. More better. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations,
All right,
guys. Have a great
take
night.
care. We'll see you out here at the river.
See ya.